Greetings, fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians across the globe. It is about 4:30 in the morning. I've woke up with calls from Bambili, who are on camp for report for now. So, at the camp for report for now, maybe for celebration for this Sunday, but now with deep sorrow. I need to bring now some good news, but they come with the truth. The truth we will not no longer keep them in silence with propaganda. No longer can we bury the truth with slogans that mask our pride. It is time for us to face reality. We heard that Ambazonian fighters have opened fire in a crowd in an occasion in Bambili, killing 2 people on the spot. We don't hear the story very well by now. It happened for Bambili, a place where it don't stand over the year as a pride of our heritage. Blood has been spilled, and not by some foreign invaders, oppressors, La République, Cameroon army, no. Not by some invading force, no. But our own people who once claimed to be fighting for freedom for Ambazonia, Ambazonian fighters, driven not by purpose, but by greed. They have launched this coward attack against the population following a failed kidnapping attempt that we heard from their own declaration during this event were targeting the general manager of Upper Nom Development Authority, a person they believe had money for them to extort. That is what the struggle have become. I will not call the name of this particular group because it is no longer a group issue. It is a group that it's an issue that is general to all of our fighters. At this moment, this mask that our fighters have been wearing should fall off. And what we saw, what we are hearing from our population is not liberation. It's pure act of criminality and evil. The 2 precious souls that have been taken away today in Bambili, Barrister Nyongen Dinga Clement, they call him Afa. I know him personally. A man of law, defender of justice, a person who have represented people who have been arrested because of Ambazonian struggle, silenced by a bullet that was not meant to free him, but to destroy, leashing anger on the population because they could not find the person they want to kidnap. A notable also, Tumasang Christian, a respectable retired police officer who have been in the community, a notable in the village, have been gunned down as this our fighters, Ambazonian fighters, opened fire in the population because they were angry that the person they came to kidnap they were not able to identify him because he ran into the population. They opened fire in the population. These are not combatants. These people that they killed were not people fighting. These were not enemies. They were our own people that the boys could identify that these are a crowd, people coming for an occasion. These 2 people that have died and the ones that are in the hospital. The ones that have died, their blood now cries out from Bambili. And to ignore this cry is to betray everything we have stood for. I've said this repeatedly for the past 2 years in particular. To ignore these cries of these victims is a betrayal and real treason. Let me speak directly now with no veil of diplomacy. The war has failed. Our war effort has failed. Our people should recognize it. It has failed not because the dreams was wrong, but because the path we took has led to darkness. We should acknowledge that. The guns once lifted hope. The Ambazonian boys who once lifted the hope of our people have become weapons and boys that have turned inwardly, firing into crowd, into families, into the heart of our communities, piercing our own hearts. Who dare again to justify this, even after 2 years? Who dare again? Who has the audacity to speak of freedom about these boys that are going around our cities? When what we now see is extortion, broad daylight killing, kidnapping, murder. Let the image of this young barrister, they call him Afa, let Clement, Barrister Clement, and this notable Tumasang haunts the conscience of every so-called leader or activist who still beats the drum of war, who still beats the drum of fighting for independence forever. To those who cling to the illusion of our armed struggle, the illusion of Amber Boys again, I say, if this Bambili does not awaken your soul to this reality, you have become a prisoner of your own slogans, blind to the fire that consumes the very people back home that we love so much. The fighters in the bush are not liberators. They are not. These type of things have demonstrated time and time again. They are now tormentors, tormenting the very people they swore to protect. If we cannot acknowledge what moral grounds can we condemn the Cameroon army, which we condemn them for coming to destroy our own people, a people that they swore to protect? We must chart this new path that we have put before our people, that is rooted in truth, peace, and justice. The peace plan paper, the call we have called for direct negotiation. We must become the voice of reason, the torchbearers of responsible advocacy, because that is who we are as a character of a people. Let us not be chained to a failed method because we are afraid to admit that the path of violence has led only to the grave, to fear and ruin. We must acknowledge this. The weapons that have been provided to these thugs, these drug dealers, was never meant to be that way. But it is that way, and we must recognize it. We must honor those who have been fallen in this manner, not with vengeance, but with vision. Let us say to the world, we are not rebels. Indeed, we are a people seeking for dignity through dialogue, not through death. And we can only say this by recognizing the reality on the ground when it affects our own people. We can only stand on this high ground to speak for the people if we can speak for them when they are attacked by our own boys. May the memory of Barrister Ndinga Clement Yonge and the notable Thomasan Christian become the seed of a new movement in your heart. Because for us, this new movement is already 2 years in progress. One that rises from the ashes of failed guns into the light of principled struggle. Wherever you are, so long as you have spoken about this struggle. To those who still hide behind rifles and ransom, note that it is enough. Our population will not take it and they will come after you. To those in the diaspora who cheer from afar while our people bleed at home with no regards to the suffering and death of our people, I want to tell you it is enough. I will ask our people in the diaspora to shame you and to come for you in responsible and legal manner. To our sons and daughters in Ambazonia who still believe in justice, now is the time for you to speak up. Not for war, but for peace with honor. Do not be afraid of the hardliner and their cyberbullying. Do not be afraid and worried about the Cameroon Konda Titus DDR wickedness to turn and spin what you say. Bambili must not be just another headline. It must be a turning point for all those who have hearts when you hear what happened there. The blood spilled there should water the tree of our conscience all across our territory, the conscience of every Ambazonian. This blood and this story of what have happened in Bambili should touch your heart if you have a heart. Because to be honest with you, the truth, the future belongs not to those who killed, but to those who heal. That is the truth. We have never cheered for killing's sake. The boys that pick up weapons that we cheered for were because they were defending our own villages from being attacked, our own people from being killed, our lawyers from being destroyed, our retired parents in the village from being killed and displaced by the Cameroon military action that started when this struggle started. That is why we cheer for those boys. And we cannot cheer for them anymore when this is what we see. We must speak the truth to power. To ignore this truth of these general actions that are happening in our territory is the biggest betrayal of our people. And those who have been doing so are the biggest traitors to our people, to our dignity, to our cause, and even to our identity. This story in Bambili should be a wake-up call for all of you. If you are not capable of talking to the people of Bambili or they are not calling you, ask yourself why. And if you haven't heard from them, make that phone call to anybody you know in Bambili and hear what happened there for yourself. Hear the horror for yourself. Enough of this madness. We'll continue to push for an end of this war through any means necessary, in a dignified manner, in a fair and just manner that secure the interests of our people. The proposition we have had received tremendous interest, even from the enemy. But you people fail to show up in negotiation because you want the war to continue, because you want your own group. It has become for you an issue of power, issue of pursuing your own goal, creating your own government, securing your own positions, rather than alleviating the grievances our people have been going through. Self-governance that we push for through devolution is the only way and the only alternative. We must end hostility completely. It is time for you to agree with us or to come to the declaration on your own. Not because of La Republique. It's not about La Republique. It's because of the blood of these people we see. God bless you all on this Sunday.